Route 66, the Mother Road, a ribbon of asphalt stretching across America's heartland. It whispers tales of dreams and despair, of journeys begun and lives lived. But some whispers are darker than others. They speak of a phantom driver, forever cruising the blacktop, his presence marked by chilling cold and the spectral glow of headlights. They say he's the ghost of a trucker, forever bound to the road that claimed his life. Truckers, those modern-day cowboys, know these whispers best. They share them at dusty truck stops, their faces grim in the flickering neon light. Each telling adds a new layer of fear to the legend, but no one dared to seek the truth. Not until James Calloway, that were now all too real. The old trucker at the diner had mentioned a name, Calvin Harlow, a name whispered with fear and reverence. They said he was a speed demon, a daredevil behind the wheel of his rig. In the golden age of trucking, he ruled Route 66, pushing his limits and his luck. Then, one foggy night, his luck ran out, a sharp bend, a deadly swerve, and Calvin Harlow met his end, his soul forever intertwined with the highway. Now they say he drives the route still, his ghostly rig a harbinger of misfortune. Forever searching. James, shaken but determined to find a rational explanation, continued his journey. The road stretched out before him, a ribbon of asphalt cutting through the desolate landscape. Each mile seemed to pull him deeper into the unknown, the darkness, pressing in from all sides. He tried to ignore the growing unease in his gut. The hum of the engine was a constant companion, but it did little to soothe his nerves. Every shadow seemed to move, every gust of wind carried a whisper. He told himself it was just a prank, a case of mistaken identity. Yet the rational explanations felt hollow, unable to dispel the creeping dread that gnawed at the edges of his mind. But deep down, the whispers of the road had begun to seep into his soul. They were more than just sounds. They were a presence, an unseen force that seemed to watch and wait. One night, parked at a desolate rest stop, he thought he heard it. The silence was thick, almost tangible, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of a night bird. A low hum, like the distant rumble of a large engine. It was a sound that seemed to vibrate through the very air, resonating with an eerie familiarity. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The hum grew louder, filling the night with its unsettling presence. He stepped out of his cab, the cold desert air biting at his skin. The stars above were indifferent, twinkling in the vast expanse of the night sky. And that's when he heard them. The voices were faint at first, like the murmur of a distant crowd, but they grew steadily louder, more insistent. Faint at first, then growing steadily louder, voices carried on the wind. They seemed to come from all directions, surrounding him in a ghostly chorus. Whispers, groans, and mournful cries swirling around him like a spectral dust devil. The air was thick with their presence, each sound a thread in a tapestry of fear. They seemed to be calling out, warning him, urging him to turn back. The voices were desperate, filled with a sorrow that seemed to echo through the ages. James stood frozen, his heart pounding in his chest as the whispers enveloped him, leaving him to wonder if he would ever escape their haunting call. He pressed on, his fear battling with his curiosity. The night was dark, and the road seemed endless, but he couldn't turn back now. The weight of the unknown was too heavy to ignore. He had to know the truth. The determination in his eyes was unwavering, a reflection of the questions that had haunted him for so long. A sign, barely visible in the moonlight, caught his eye. It was old and worn, almost as if it had been forgotten by time itself. Calico Canyon. Next exit, Calico Canyon. The name sent a shiver down his spine, a place infamous for its dark history and tragic events. The site of Calvin Harlow's fatal crash, a place where dreams had ended and nightmares had begun. The air seemed to grow colder as he approached. He felt a chill run down his spine. It wasn't just the cold. It was the weight of the memories, the echoes of the past that lingered in the air. It was as if some unseen force was drawing him towards the canyon, an invisible hand guiding him to the heart of the mystery. He pulled off the highway, his truck kicking up dust as he drove down the deserted road leading to the canyon edge. The path was rough, and the silence was deafening. And there, at the bottom of the canyon, illuminated by his headlights, lay the mangled remains of a truck. The sight was both tragic and haunting. Twisted metal and shattered glass glinted ominously in the moonlight. Each piece of debris told a story of impact and destruction. It was a chilling sight, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unforgiving nature of the road. The canyon held its secrets tightly, but he was determined to uncover them, no matter the cost. As he stared at the wreckage, the air grew heavy, thick with a palpable sense of dread. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end. He could hear the whispers again, closer now, more insistent. And then, through the swirling dust and moonlight, he saw it. A figure, tall and imposing, emerged from the shadows. It was the silhouette of a man, clad in a leather jacket, his features obscured by the darkness. He seemed to emanate an aura of cold, a chill that pierced through James to his very core. The figure turned, and for a fleeting moment their eyes met. James felt a jolt, a surge of icy terror that stopped his heart. In that instant, he knew. He was looking into the eyes of Calvin Harlow. The figure gestured toward the passenger seat of James's truck. An invitation, or perhaps a warning. James was frozen, caught between terror and an inexplicable pull towards the spectral figure. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The figure took a step closer, and James could have sworn he heard a voice, faint and raspy, whispering his name. "James, ride with me!" And then, as quickly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, swallowed by the darkness. The whispers faded, the only sound the howling wind and the pounding of James's heart. James didn't need another invitation. He threw the truck into reverse, tires spitting gravel, and sped away from the canyon's edge. He didn't stop driving until the sun rose, painting the eastern sky in hues of orange and gold. He never spoke of that night, not to anyone. He left trucking soon after, unable to shake the memory of Calvin Harlow's ghostly eyes. Some say he still lives, haunted by the memory of that night, forever touched by the chilling embrace of Route 66. And what of Calvin Harlow? He still drives, they say, forever bound to the road that claimed him. A cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones, a reminder that some journeys never truly end. They just become a different kind of ghost story.